So I'll start topic 6. Topic 1 up to 5 is in this same channel. You can have a look at it at the playlist section. You can look for principles and practices of management, and you'll have a look at all the topics. So topic 6 is the controlling function in management. So I'll start with defining. So basically, controlling is ensuring that everything is being done to the achievement of goals. So you make sure everything is done as per how you had planned. So it's you control by ensuring that the organization is moving in the desired direction, and progress is happening as per the goals you had set. So this involves you doing some measurement and doing some correction here and there in case there are deviations from the plans. So you make corrections in case there's an employee who's maybe performing as the performance is not as desired. You're able to adjust and maybe get to know why, and maybe provide a solution to the employee. So it involves measurement and correction of employee performance and other resources in the company to ensure everything is working as planned. And if there are deviations, you take corrective action. There are two ways of control. One is direct control, and the other one is indirect control. We shall be looking at them. Also, when it comes to budgeting and the idea of controlling, there are issues that are budgeted, and there are issues you do that don't involve a budgetary function. So we'll be looking at also the approaches of controlling, some being budgetary and others not being budgetary or doesn't involve money. So let's start with direct control. Direct control is based on the following. One is that it's a hands-on supervision. It's called direct control because you are closely supervising what your subordinates are doing. You monitor the activities happening, you provide guidance, you provide instructions, you get to ask for feedback, you get to intervene here and there when necessary. That's what we refer to as hands-on supervision. It also has immediate feedback, so you as a manager, you need to ensure there are procedures that can give you feedback, and maybe in real time, and also so that employees are able to do as they are supposed to do, and that they are comfortable. And in case they are going through issues, you're able to there to provide solutions to them. Also, direct control involves tightly defined procedures. So there are procedures that are being done in the company. There are rules. There are tasks that are being done in a procedural way. And you as a manager is to ensure that everything is being monitored and done as it's supposed to. You also have to have some high level of management. So you have to have some skills in management when you are doing controlling to ensure that expectations are as per the standards you've set. And this is mostly done in departments. So direct control is mostly done in departments where each HOD has what they are doing in their respective departments. Those are the main features of direct control. One is hands-on supervision. Second is immediate feedback. Third is tightly defined procedures. For this high level of management, where your skills means you need to be good. And that is where it is mostly applied in companies. It's when companies are divided into departments or sections, where each section has a manager. We also have indirect control. Indirect control is based on the following. One, it involves delegating some roles to your subordinate. This means that you kind of, instead of doing close supervision, you kind of trust your employees and to accomplish the tasks that you've given them. So they are kind of not closely monitored, but at the end of the some duration, there's the way you also are able to check whether your goals were met. It's more of delegating and empowering your employees. Another thing it involves is setting objectives and goals. So you indirectly have a way of a mechanism of evaluating the performance of your employees, and be in a position to guide them in case there is any issue they are going through. It's called indirect control. There's also the third thing that involves indirect control is performance. You measure performance using indicators. We call performance indicators, key performance indicators. You can set targets, and then after some duration, employees are they are not closely monitored, but they are aware of the target and what is expected of them after a certain period. That's what we refer to as indirect control. You also kind of don't do the close supervision, but you like monitor the outputs that you are getting after some duration. So the outcomes that you are getting is what dictates whether targets are being met or not being met, but you are not closely following up with your employees. Another thing is in this direct control is that you encourage self-regulation. So self-discipline, you kind of are trusting your juniors to know what they will need to do by themselves in order to meet the targets that you've set. It's also, this indirect control is also common in large organizations where companies are big and they are kind of complex. Therefore, when goals are set, every department has their own style of handling the challenges they are facing, and they have their own way of self-regulating, self-assessing. Not so much of direct monitoring, but they know that there's, after a certain period, there's what that is expected of them, and measurement of key performance indicators will be done, and direction will be given. So those are the main functions, main features of indirect control. One is delegation and empowerment of your juniors, setting objectives and goals to serve as benchmarks for performance of your employees, as a guidance for your employees, that is. Another thing is performance system, where you have a way of having a system that is for measuring performance. And here in direct control, you kind of are monitoring the outputs. Then you also encourage self-regulation, and it is common in large organizations. Direct is common in departments, indirect is common in cases where the company is big and maybe goals are set up there that are indirect. Let's also go to importance of control. Why is control very important in a business? One is that it ensures that you are utilizing the resources you have efficiently. So you are utilizing the money, the time, the labor force you have. Control is important so that you best utilize all these resources. It also ensures that objectives are planned and are met. It also reduces errors, because if there are errors, if there are deviations, you're able to correct them early enough. When you do controlling, you're able to spot and give guidance and correct any deviation. Also, employees are also aware that they are being monitored, so they are kind of vigilant when knowing that there's someone who is controlling what they are doing, someone is monitoring, someone is checking whether they are meeting the goals. So it is very efficient. It also helps you in evaluating and helps you in examining every employee, every department. So when there's control, there's better evaluation of everything happening. It also ensures tasks are completed within the given time. Another thing it does, it improves communication. Another one, it is a way of also getting feedback. And another thing is that it helps in coordinating activities in the departments. So when the company has proper procedures of control, there is also better coordination of activities in the department. Let's look at steps involved in controlling. So which are these steps? Which are these steps that you follow? One is establishing the standards. So you establish the standards against which you shall be able to measure your performance. So these standards, you set them. And then number two, you measure the performance against the standards you set in step one. So step one being setting up of standards. Number two is measuring your performance. Number three is comparing your performance with the standards. So if the performance is not so exciting, you know what you need to do. If you have exceeded your expectations, you also need to know how to adjust your standards. Another one is analyzing in case there are deviations. You analyze these deviations of the standards, where you didn't meet this target and the reasons behind it. Then the next is, after identifying the issues that may have made you not be in a position to meet your standards, you do corrective measures to correct those deficiencies. Then number four is do follow up and to get feedback to ensure that corrective actions are done and the issues you identified are being addressed appropriately. Then the last step is adjusting your standards. So if the standards were very high, you're able to adjust. If they are also very low, you're able to adjust them according to the circumstances you've identified, according to the new information you have maybe gathered from your feedback, and maybe the lessons you've learned from your experiences. Those are the steps that are involved in controlling. We've said number one, establishing of standards. Number two, measuring your performance against these standards. Number four, comparing of the performance and the standards. Number four is analyzing deviations in case they are there and getting to know the reason behind it. Then the next number is taking corrective action to the deficiencies or the issues you may be identified. Then the other one is doing follow-up and feedback. When you identify the areas that need correction, you also need to do follow-up and feedback. Then the last is adjust standards in case there are circumstances that are unique, or there is new information, or there are lessons you've learned. Yes, so let's look at areas of control. Which are these areas that you control in a business? One is the financial part. Businesses work with finances, so you have to have proper control of the budgets, of the capital expenditures, of the cash flows. You have to monitor and control how you spend your money in the company. Another one is human resources. You also have to have some control over your employees. Get to see whether they are working as they should. Get to see if there is absenteeism, get to see whether there are challenges they are facing, and so that you can address them. That is also another part of control. Another part of control is production. You need to look at the quality of the products you are producing. You need to look at the quantity. You need to look at production schedules. You need to look at time frames when you are producing items. That's also a line of control. Another one is marketing. You also need to look at how you are marketing your products, how you are doing your awareness, the activities involved, the resources needed, the resources being allocated, and the like. Another area of control is quality control. You need to look at the standards. Are you meeting customer requirements? Are you able to provide a product or a service that is as per customer needs and the market at hand? So yeah. Then the other one is inventory. You also need to control the products you are producing, stocks that you are using, the raw materials, the customer demands, and the like. Another one is a strategic control. You need to evaluate how you are implementing the strategies that you have as a company. Are they aligned to the mission and the vision of the company? Are they aligned to short-term objectives or long-term objectives? Those are the main areas of control. Financial control, human resources control, production control, marketing control, quality control, inventory control, and strategic control. Let's also look at principles of an effective control system. So one is setting up clear objectives and standards. Another one is ensuring accuracy and reliability in decision making. Another one is ensuring there is participation of at all levels of the organization. Juniors are participating in decision making. The executive is participating. Another is the one is flexibility and stability to adapt to challenges of or circumstances which you sometimes face when you are dealing with a company. Another one is timelines. You need to also look at your timelines, how you are responding to internal and external environments. You also need to do some continuous monitoring and gaining feedback on performance. And another area you need to, another principle in control is have a way you focus on key areas that are of most significant or impact to the organization. Those are the effective principles that make your control system effective. One is establishing standards, ensuring there's accuracy and reliability for decision making, encouraging participation and involvement. And then another one is having some flexibility and stability. Another one is having some timeliness when you are facing challenges. Another one is continuously monitoring and giving feedback of performance. Another one is focusing on the key areas of importance to the organization, ensuring you put more energy on those very significant parts of control that have major impact on the company as a whole. Then we have budgetary control. Budgetary control involves the establishment of budgets, so it's more of finances now. So budgetary control will involve you having a plan that you follow in regards to the revenues you are receiving, in regards to expenses you are facing, in regards to the financial targets that you have set for the company. Is what we refer to as budgetary control system. So one thing you look at is the types of budgets you need to have: operating budgets, capital budgets, cash budgets, the main budget, the master budget. So you look at how you are spending money, how you are handling your revenues, and the like. This monitoring and comparison is done so that you're able to regulate and monitor your cash flows and how you are spending money. Get to know the opportunities that are there, get to know areas that need improvement in regards to money. So it helps companies in planning, coordinating, allocating resources, evaluating their performance, helps them in decision making, and provides a way of how you can manage and be in a position to best meet your organizational goals. That's what we refer to as budgetary control system. It comes with advantages. So when you are having an effective budgetary control system, the company will experience financial stability and sustainability. So you'll be able to have cash flow in the business and be able to face challenges that are of money kind. Another one is the budgetary control system. Another advantage is it helps you in decision making. So it helps you in creating an idea, an insight of what of how you will spend your money. The third thing of an advantage to budgetary control system, it helps you in coordinating activities and having better communication channels between departments and in the organization. Another thing it helps you do is have some control in the costs you are incurring as a business. So you're able to best utilize the money you have by having a budgetary control system that helps you in managing your costs. Another one, it helps you in setting and planning of your targets and your goals. Something else it does is helps you in allocating of resources by assisting you in identifying those areas that are of key importance and that have great impact to the business over the others. It means it helps you in allocating resources on priority basis. It also, budgetary control system will also assist you in evaluating your performance as a business. Those are the advantages of a budgetary control system. One is financial stability and sustainability, support in decision making, coordination and communication in the company is better when there is some control in the budgetary system. Cost control, cost is monitored. Setting of goals and planning is better. Allocation of resources is also better, especially by identifying those areas that need the projects and the activities that are in the organization by priority, and performance is also evaluated. However, the budgetary control also comes with disadvantages. So one, because of a budget, there may be cases where there is resistance to change, and there may be employees maybe find the budgetary control system to be very tough to work with. Something else is there is rigidity and inflexibility. So when there is a budget allocated to some issues, there may arise some challenges here and there that may be unforeseen when the budget was being done. Another thing is that the budgetary control system is more of a short term. It focuses on short term expenses and strategies, not the long term ones. Another disadvantage, it may bring conflicts if the targets met in the budget are not realistic or are not fair, so there may be issues. Another disadvantage of the budgetary control system, it may be at risk of manipulation. At the time of budgeting, there may be cases where some employees who are not genuine may resort to putting figures that are not exact or exaggerate some amounts. Another thing is that it requires time and resources, so it's expensive. It requires money, time, and some planning that also involves time. Those are the disadvantages of a budgetary control system. One is resistant to change, rigidity or inflexibility to the budget set. That one is it focuses on short-term results. Fourth, there is conflict sometimes and misappropriation of misalignment of activities and that are not realistic. The third, it is prone to risks of manipulation. And the other one is that it's expensive. It requires time and resources. Let's also look at non-budgetary control system. This is a control that involves issues that don't involve financial or money metrics. So it's more of these other things you do that are involved in controlling your business that are not necessarily about money. So it is more of monitoring and managing performance that is not measured according to financial. It's not more of the financial part. It's formal, but it doesn't rely on budgets. So you use a performance standard or benchmarks to look at productivity and get to see whether you are meeting your targets. Are customers satisfied? Are the products of good quality? Is productivity meeting timelines? So all these are non-budgetary control system. So it is an approach that is more of checking the outcomes rather than looking at the financial side. So it's a method. It has a broader perspective of performance, allowing companies to not only look at the financial part, but also look at ways of promoting improvement of activities, and encouraging innovation, aligning the organization strategically to face competitors and the like. It comes with advantages. So non-budgetary control system are more flexible than the budgetary one. Another one is that it encourages creativity of employees by bringing new ideas, bringing new approaches to handling issues, bringing new solutions to challenges the company is facing. Something else about the non-budgetary control system helps in adaptive planning and guides in decision making to those issues that are more of feedback, insights here and there, and it helps in the planning. It also emphasizes the importance of meeting customer expectations and customer needs. Yes, they are buying a product, but are you fully satisfying them? Are there wrangles? Are there complaints? The like. It also promotes strategic alignment by linking organizational objectives with the individual objectives. So you look at an employee, whether the employee has their own personal goals, and are those personal goals aligned with the organizational goals. If that is the case, then that is very encouraging, because as the employee is meeting their own personal goals, the organizational goals are also met. Another advantage about non-budgetary control system, it focuses on the outcomes other than the input-based issues. So it's more of the outcome, the end result of how the products or services we are offering. Those are the advantages of the advantages of non-budgetary control system. One, it is more flexible. It encourages creativity and innovation. It helps in adaptive planning and decision making. It emphasizes on the importance of meeting customer needs and expectations to make sure they are satisfied. It promotes strategic alignment of personal goals to individual personal goals to company goals, and it is more focused on the outcomes or the end result rather than input-based targets or issues that are in-house. It's more of the end product of what the company is producing. However, we have disadvantages to it also, to non-budgetary control system. One of the disadvantages is that it may bring issues of comparisons of different departments. So there may be the idea of comparing one department of another, one organization of another. So it brings about comparison of comparing of performance. Another one, it may lead to inconsistencies when it comes to decision making, when it comes to priorities. So it may not be so clear over time. Another one, there may be issues of resistance from the stakeholders involved that are maybe more of the side of budgetary control. So they may bring about resistance to those issues you're bringing that are non-budgetary. Another disadvantage, it may be complex and challenging for very large organizations Another disadvantage, it may reduce accountability on the financial part and bring about decentralizing of decision making. And this idea of not being so accountable when it comes to considering the financial implications may bring about challenges when it comes to decision making. Another disadvantage, it may prioritize on outcomes at the expense of the costs you're incurring. So it may bring about the idea of focusing so much on the outcome, on the end result, forgetting that there is a cost to every of those targets you are setting that are non-budgetary. So it still brings about the idea of affecting the budgetary side of how issues are done in the company. Another disadvantage, it can be challenging to measure accurately some of the issues that are raised by the non-budgetary control system. It may be, like an example would be, it may be challenging to measure customer satisfaction. It may be challenging to sometimes measure employee engagement. So yeah, these are non-budgetary features that may be challenging to equate and put a figure to, and maybe have issues trying to see whether you are growing or you are maybe declining when it comes to comparison to the previous periods or years. Those are the disadvantages of a non-budgetary control system. Something else we will look at is in the internal audit. What is internal audit? This is a way of looking at your company independently by checking to see whether there are issues that maybe need improvement. So it's an independent and consulting activity that you do to a company to check if to add value and improve the operations of the company. So internal auditors are members of the company who do evaluation of various operations in the company to check to see if goals are being met, to check and see whether there are areas that need recommendation, to check and see whether there are areas that need improvement. These internal auditors also check to see whether there are areas that are risky, there are areas that are maybe not complying with the law, and get to see if they are able to adjust and maybe recommend, bring recommendations to the policies of the company. So it helps organizations accomplish their objectives by having a way of approaching and evaluating whether there's effectiveness and if everything is being done as it should. There's compliance and risks are being mitigated, are goals being achieved as they should. That's what we refer as internal audit. So like our company, we have some trainers who are under a committee called internal auditors. So they visit departments and get to check what every department is doing, get to see whether all activities are in line with what is supposed to be done. It's called a day for internal audit. So it's a good thing that a company should embrace. These auditors bring about the idea of giving suggestions of areas that every department is performing. Advantages of internal audit: it helps to identify and assess the risks across various areas of the company or across various departments. So they're able to identify and assess any risks that could be there. They also ensure there's compliance to the law, regulations, compliance to company policies, compliance to company procedures, compliance to everything that is supposed to be done in the company. So when they come to the department, they follow up to see whether all the activities we are doing as trainers are in line with what we are supposed to do as per the policy of the school. Another thing it does is it assesses the efficiency and effectiveness of the operations, to identify areas that need improvement. Internal auditors also verify the accuracy and reliability of information, especially financial or records that you are handling as a department or as a company. They check to see the accuracy and reliability of those records and documents. Something else that the internal auditors do is play a critical role in preventing fraud within the organization, being able to spot the vulnerable areas of the company, the vulnerable procedures that are maybe not that need improvement and the like. The internal auditors also evaluate the strategies of the organization to check if the activities that are supposed to be scrapped out or activities that are maybe supposed to be improved and the like. It also promotes the culture of continuous improvement in the company by identifying opportunities that need innovation, that need correction and the like. Those are the advantages of internal audit. It's a very good thing in an organization. So when I've said internal auditors help in identifying areas that need improvement. It helps in identifying risks. It helps to ensure there is compliance to the law of the law of the country and the regulations and the procedures. It also assesses efficiencies and effectiveness of operations. It also helps in identifying and verifying accuracy and reliability of documents and financial records. Internal auditors also help in detecting and preventing fraud in the company. Another thing they do is help in evaluating the alignment of organizational strategies to the operational activities of the company. And it promotes the culture of continuous improvement. However, it comes with disadvantages. So one disadvantage of internal auditors is that it requires time, effort and resources, so it's kind of expensive. Another thing of the internal auditors, it may create conflicts of interest because the auditors are employees of the same company. So if there is internal audit, it's employees of the same company who audit the others, so it may bring about conflicts. Another one, it may when they are doing the audit, they may not have the experience and the expertise to handle. So they may not be experts in handling some issues, like understanding financial statements, understanding procedures happening in every department. So sometimes they may not understand all the challenges an organization is facing, and they may lack the know-how to know the technical stuff of some operations being done in the company. Another disadvantage of internal auditing is that the scope of how it is done may not be as per what is supposed to. So there are cases where the scope may be limited to the operations that they are doing. Another thing is that they may encounter resistance from employees who find it to be disruptive and threatening, and it may be challenging when you are an employee who is auditing your other colleague, and they may be very busy. Another thing is that it may lack an external perspective. It may lack an external benchmarking case or scenario where you can compare. So challenges may be there, but you have nothing else to compare it to. Something else we will look at is metric organizational structure. This is a workplace format structure in which where employees report to two or more managers. So our structure in a company where employees have more than one manager is what we refer to as metrics organizational structure. They may be reporting to one every other day, but there are cases or periods or durations where they are reporting to another, and then they later go back to the primary manager. This could be a project they may be doing where they now go to another manager, but they have their primary department or their primary manager who oversees their daily activities. But every once in a while, they have projects that they are doing or activities that are now require them to do before they go back to their normal day-to-day operations. So it's a workplace format structure in which employees report to two or more managers rather than one, mostly done when there is a project where the primary manager releases some employees to go report to another for a while. So characteristics of metrics: employees are accountable to one boss, like I said. The place usually has separate chain of commands. The matrix structure is designed to be temporary. It's not permanent. It may happen for a month, for a year, for 2 years. Then everyone else goes to their respective departments. Management roles are fluid and not fixed to this case of matrix. It comes with advantages. So one advantage, it's a workable method of integrating projects. So where a project comes, people are pulled from different departments. They finish that project and return back to their respective departments. Another advantage, it's an efficient tool for managing a limited number of people in a company. Another one is there is a lot of sharing of information from diverse professions. So people from diverse professions and departments come together and they do a project together, and in doing that, each gets to learn so much from the other. Another one, it encourages retention of experts. Another one, it minimizes the organizational structure and disruptions because it's not permanent, it's only temporal. So it's very, very good. Another thing it does is it helps managers to mentor the others. So there's a lot of mentorship that happens when there's a project happening. People learn a lot as they are sharing information, as they are doing their project, each having their activities, each from different profession. They get to learn a lot from each other. Disadvantages of matrix organization: it is expensive, it is time consuming, it increases the complexity of a company, makes the company kind of complex. It requires a high degree of cooperation between two managers. It may cause conflicts in management, so there may be conflicts here and there when maybe people are needed in all sides. It may be difficult to establish priorities when you're dealing with more than one manager, one boss. Sometimes you may have challenges when each maybe requires you to do something. It may cause slowdowns in management to reactions to issues that are maybe arising in different departments. It also is it increases management overhead costs. Maybe what you budgeted for may be exceeded when there's this kind of organization, when there's matrix organization, especially when there's a project that wasn't expected at the time of budgeting. Those are the disadvantages of matrix organizational structure. One, it is expensive, time consuming, brings about complexity of the company. Requires a high degree of cooperation by the managers involved. In some, maybe it's the primary manager releasing his employees. And another one, it may cause conflicts when it comes to directives. Two bosses may need the employee, and that may be challenging sometimes for this employee to know how to prioritize their duties, and may cause slowdowns in the management. That's all about the controlling function in principles and practices of management. Yeah, thank you, and all the best. Yes.